Hello and welcome to another YouTube video. Welcome to this channel. Today we're talking translated fiction. I'm diving right into it because it's going to be a mother of a video. It's going to be quite big. I have a lot of books that I want to talk about. Translated fiction, especially Japanese translated fiction. This is fiction which has been translated from the Japanese by some incredible translators who have done some great work. I got into Japanese translated fiction around 2020. That is when I I have been reading Murakami's books for a long time, but I have specifically steered clear of Murakami's work because he is a breakout star. Everyone knows about Murakami and everyone has at least come across or at least read a Murakami once in their life. That is another reason why I decided to steer clear of his writing but introduce you to some other good Japanese authors which you can check out and you might find your next read here. But before that, I just wanted to talk to you about why you should read translated fiction. It could be from any country, it could be from any author of your choice, any culture or any kind of lifestyle that you want to get to know more about. It's usually in the fiction, it's usually in the stories that the people tell, that the authors tell, where you will find the nuances of culture and nuances of lifestyle that you're looking for. Yes, you might watch a TV show, yes, you might watch a reality TV show for that matter. However, you're not going to get that deeper insight or that deeper understanding of a certain culture or of a certain people which you're trying to get unless you read fiction from that country. So the first author that I'm going to talk about is one of my favorites. If she is dropping a new novel, I am going to read it. You best believe it. And the author is Mieko Kawakami, author of Breasts and Eggs and All the Lovers in the Night. Let me start off with Breasts and Eggs, a book which is not about chicken. Sorry, bad joke. But is about women. So Breasts and Eggs is a story of 3 women and they are living in Tokyo and they are at different stages in their lives. So it's about how they navigate through life when the odds are stacked against them, how they decide to persevere through it all, and how they explore themes of childhood trauma, of motherhood, of womanhood, essentially. So the question arises that what does it mean to be a woman, to sort of live a life in a country like Japan, in a country like modern Japan? What does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be a mother? How can a woman sustain herself in a country like this? And how can she build a life for herself while maintaining relationships with other women, while understanding their plight, understanding their womanhood? And it's basically a story which is about a woman wanting to get to know about her own womanhood, and that could include anything. It's not just about getting to know oneself through one's relationships, one's partners, or one's emotions. It's also about getting to know oneself through one's desires, one's wants, one's needs. So that is what this book focuses on. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I do have a physical copy, however, I read this book on my phone first and then I bought a physical copy because I thought I need to reread this. The second book which I have, which is All the Lovers in the Night. This one is more about exploring loneliness in general. A woman in her 30s, her name's Fuyuko Irie, is trying to come to terms with her life and the life that she has lived so far. And she thinks to herself, you know, she is not in any relationship, she doesn't have a partner. However, what she doesn't have any friends. What she does have is rituals. What she does have is a system, her job. And she thinks to herself, maybe that's all she needs. But slowly and steadily, she comes out of her shell. She gets to know that she still has the capacity to build relationships and to get with people and to sort of, you know, meet people and get to know them. I would say that the prose is simple, however, it's very powerful. And I think that's what really draws me towards Kawakami's writing, is because whenever we have these experiences as women, or even as just as people, you know, really, we struggle to put them into words. We struggle to put them into concise and sharp words. We fumble a lot, and we falter, and we're not able to pick up the pieces. Kawakami does that beautifully. The way she writes is it's very crisp, it's simple, it's easy to access, and it's not long or meandering, nothing of that sort. But these universal experiences that we have as women or as people in general is something that she's able to capture the nuances of and write it down for us so that we can read it and be like, yes, I have felt this. And I think one should really, really explore her as an author. She's a very decorated author in Japan. The next author is also a woman who writes weird, absurdist fictions, and her breakout novel is Convenience Store Woman. Of course, I'm talking about Sayaka Murata. She has then gone on, after this novel, she has gone on to write a lot of other novels, and I also have her collection of short stories over here called Life Ceremony. First, I'm going to talk about this book though, Convenience Store Woman. This book is about a woman, obviously, who works in a convenience store. Murata tries to touch on themes of capitalism, of life under capitalism, of life of women under capitalism, and how working a minimum wage job for a really long time can affect you as a person. And that's the theme which has been tackled in this short little novella. It's sort of the consumer, the consumed wants to become the consumer, in a sense that this woman's whole life is consumed by capitalism, working in a store, going day in, day out, being a part of the convenience store. She is a part of it. She is the consumed. However, she wants to be the consumer in a sense that she wants to consume the convenience store, and she wants that to become a part of her, because she is losing her identity. And this is a book essentially about identity crisis. Life Ceremony. This is a collection of short stories written by this woman, and they are all about people, relationships, body horror, and gore. And it's not really like horror. It's how we are changing as people. We want to have more. It tackles human greed. It tackles a lot of our negative emotions that we express on a day-to-day. And what if we actually acted upon them? And what if we actually, the people in these short stories are actually acting upon the deepest, darkest, weirdest, absurdist desires that they have, and they're actually doing something about it. Next author, or actually now I just have a bunch of books that I want to talk about. The first one is Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Tsujimura. I can't recommend this book enough. I absolutely love this book. This one stayed with me. I thought about this book. I kept thinking about this book for a really long time. And the story is something that stays with you for a long time. And it helps you heal, it helps you think in a different way, it helps you see people and just events and situations in a different light. So Kokoro's story, her story is about her growing up, her getting to know these other 7 people who are just like her, misfits, oddballs, people who are outcasts, especially in their schools, and how they all find each other in this different dimension. They find themselves, all of them, they land in that castle and they all start to, you know, become friends with each other. They start to interact with each other, they start to form relationships and bonds and start communicating with each other, even though they're all outcasts and, you know, kids who are just being bullied in their schools otherwise. However, they have to play a lot of games that test their relationships. They have to encounter a lot of tests that will test their bonds that they are forming together. And then there's a final test, but you know what, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I think that this book very nicely, very carefully, and very, you know, empathetically deals with topics like bullying, like harassment, like isolation, when especially in teenagers, and how teenagers really feel when they're being outcast. So it's a situation that almost every person has been in at least one point in their life, where they've felt left behind or they felt FOMO of some sort. I guess FOMO is a very shallow term to use here, but you have felt some kind of isolation from a group at some point in time. But how does that change you as a person as you grow up? What does that teach you? Is something that Tsujimura explores in this book. I would 100% recommend this. No matter who you are, I want you to read it. Especially if you're a teenager, this is something that you would really enjoy. The next book is Diary of a Void by Emi Yagi. This is the kind of book that gets you out of a reading slump, where you can just say, I read a book. I was talking about reading a book and I read a book, and this is that book, right? It's a very simple story, which is about a woman who pretends to be pregnant to get the benefits from her job. That's the premise of it. She realizes that she can just pretend to be pregnant and she can get a lot of benefits. This is, a lot of people said this is a take on motherhood programs, or, you know, just like mother care in Japan and this and that, but I don't think it's that deep of a story. I just thought that this is a woman who wanted to have some fun and wanted to see if she could have some fun and fool a bunch of people who otherwise were not paying attention to her, but are now paying attention to her and are now worried and concerned about her when she is posing to be pregnant and when she is, you know, having it seems as though something's going on for her, and it's about how far you can take it. And it's about this. There's something that George says in Seinfeld. This character George Costanza, he says in Seinfeld, he says, if you believe it, it's not a lie. So I think this book is all about that. It's like, if you believe it and hard enough, it's not a lie. If you believe it, it's not a lie, whatever it is that you're saying. So this is a book like that. It's a short story It's like a one afternoon read kind of a novel. Next book, I have talked about this on Instagram and I'll talk about this here again, is What You're Looking For Is in the Library by Michiko Aoyama. This is one of those books. I have seen this growing trend lately about books that are about slice of life, about a quaint kind of lifestyle, about just a character or a bunch of characters that make you feel good about yourself, about your life, give you inspiration, and there's this like soft, everything's going to be all right kind of a messaging going through all of these quaint bookshop or quaint lifestyle novels, especially that are set in Japan. Either they are in a bookstore or either they are in like a coffee shop or something like that. And this one is set in a library. It's about 5 characters who have problems with their life, and they are all at a crossroads in their life, and somehow they all end up in the same library, in the same local library, and they meet the librarian, this enigmatic woman who helps them, who sort of directs them towards books that change their life. And that's the plot and the premise of this book. If you're looking for something, more than Diary of a Void, this is a book that will definitely get you out of a reading slump. And this is actually a good one. It's very crisp, to the point. The writing is very simple, very easy to digest. Next book is this one, Scattered All Over the Earth by Yoko Tawada. This book is about not a dystopian world, but a futuristic world where Japan no longer exists on the face of the earth. A huge earthquake / tsunami / natural calamity has taken place and Japan has been wiped clean off the face of the earth. Only a few people remain scattered all over the earth, and one of them is our protagonist, who gets wind of another Japanese person existing in Norway or Sweden or something. I read this book long back, so I don't really remember. But she meets a bunch of linguists and she starts talking to them, and they all become friends, and the linguists help her find out this mysterious dying language, which is a part of a very different culture. And the culture of Japan, everything has just been wiped out. People have already forgotten about this island that existed. So this book is about what she feels and how she deals with the fact that her country is no more. She doesn't know her history, her background, and how she deals with it, and how these linguists help her through, and how they all take a journey through Europe and stuff that happens on that journey. I will recommend this book to anyone who's looking for a story about identity, about culture, about understanding oneself through their culture. And as I am saying all of this, I see that a lot of these books, especially these literary fiction novels written mostly by women, are have a central theme, which is the theme of identity and wanting to understand at a deeper level who is it that they are, and who is it that they are trying to be, and who is it that they were really. So identity is a very, very potent theme in all of these books that I have talked about, and they keep on exploring that identity throughout these books. And it's something that I really enjoyed reading, because whenever you are at a crossroads in your life, or whenever it is that you have a crisis of the identity, you can turn to fiction like this, and it can help you see better. It can help you understand your own life better. These are all the books that I wanted to talk about in this video. There's a lot more that I have read when it comes to Japanese translated fiction. There's this author called Banana Yoshimoto, whose novel Kitchen is incredible. I read it a long time ago, but I just want you to read it. Kitchen is incredible. Territory of Light by Yuko Tsushima. If I really hope I'm saying her name right. I think it's Yuko Tsushima. I'm not too sure. Territory of Light by her is like another honorable mention. And another honorable mention, this one was a birthday gift, is Strange Weather in Tokyo. It's about a woman's relationship with her professor and how they get to talking and how they they just get to know about life through each other from different perspectives. These are all books that I have read and I can vouch for. And I think that I hope you find your next read through all of these books that we talked about today. And if you have read any of these, do let me know what your thoughts were down in the comments. And if you want to read any of these, do let me know which one it is that you want to read. And also, if you have read any Japanese authors that you want me to explore and you want me to read, do let me know about them. I'll see if I can read them and talk about them here. And that's it for this video. That was a lot of books that we talked about. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see you in the next one.